G'day guys, if you've got a four-wheel drive and you're a little bit scared to use it down on the beach, this video is for you. Couple of simple little tips to get you out on the beach so you don't have to line up in the car park. Can Aussie Outdoors, let's get it going. So some of these items here are literally leaving the car 24/7. If not, they're in a little plastic tub that I can throw in at a moment's notice. They are all individually inexpensive to a point. If you spent money on a four-wheel drive, you might as well spend a little bit more and get those wheels rolling. First things first, this here is a tire deflator. It removes the valve core from inside the valve to let the air out. Good thing about these is it doesn't introduce dirt into the Schrader valve here. It doesn't introduce dirt into the valve in the car. You're left with a fair bit of control. It does take a little longer than some systems, but this is pretty damn versatile and very trustworthy in my opinion. We've got a 12-volt compressor here. So this one just clips onto your battery, red to red, black to black. And we've got a charge line here as well with a little pressure gauge on it. That gauge I don't really like, I don't trust it, hence why I have one of these with me. This guy, it was probably a very entry-level one, straight out of one of the cheaper four-wheel drive accessory shops in Geraldton. I've used it for at least 4 years now, so I can't complain. When it comes to 12-volt accessories, including air compressors, they can be a little bit hit and miss sometimes, okay, admittedly so. You might get 10 years out of one, you might get 3 minutes out of one. So give it a run at home, use it to blow up some toys, use it within close proximity to town, use it in places where you know you can get air at the closest servo before committing. If you're going well off the beaten track, it is advisable to carry two. In my opinion, a good one, a decent one, and a real cheap one that'll just get you out of trouble. Now, this brings me to another two items. The first one I've had since I got my bloody first four-wheel drive when I got my license. I kid you not, it's got me out of trouble more times than I can remember. It's a high lift jack, okay, also known as a Kangaroo Jack, and as one of my friends in the comment section in one of my previous videos mentioned, he called it the Jawbuster 5000. Personally, I don't know too many people have been dramatically injured by using a Kangaroo Jack. I know a few people that may have got a little blood blister from time to time. They do get away on you if you're not using them correctly or you're not cautious around the operation of them. However, for that peace of mind, it's not electric, it's not hooked up to a battery, it's not a winch, it's literally not going to fail you. You may fail it. Mine hasn't been looked after at all. Normally you drown them in WD-40 and keep them working, right? Carry a can of WD-40 under your seat and use it when you need it, because 9 times out of 10 they live in the back of your ute or they live on your roof rack and they get completely forgotten about. If you understand the function of them and how the 2-pin system works, you can work around them being a little bit tight. I have, as mentioned in a previous video, a custom foot plate. It's made out of a car rim with a big socket. Now this has an angle of adjustment on it, so I can use it to push on angles other than straight up and down. Now some things people don't know about high lift jacks, you can actually use them as a winch as well. So you can put a D-shackle through the top here, and this is what this eyelet here is for as well, and you can close the jack up together and use it as a winch. Once it's secured to that top eyelet here and this bottom eyelet here with something that doesn't stretch, you can close the jack on itself and pull your vehicle the length of your jack over and over again. So my jack would possibly be about 1 meter long. So, okay, so if I've got no stretch in what I'm using to use as a winch, I may get 1 meter of ground every time I use that. And that brings me to these. These here, this is not a snatch strap, they're a lifting strap. These lifting slings have next to no stretch in them, and with a couple of D shackles and this jack here and these 2 points here, I can use them for a recovery winch. I can also use them to lift the vehicle higher. I can use them to, you're only limited by your imagination. What you can do with a couple of slings, a couple of D shackles and one of these high lift jacks. You do have to show a little caution, however. They have been known to be dangerous. So stay out of the strike zone, stay out of the line of fire and proceed with caution. Take little bites and you'll get going. Now, I did mention this in a previous video. If you've got a Weld body, okay, or you're limited for lifting points on your four-wheel drive, you can actually get away with this. This has a receptacle here for your lifting foot on your high lift. And it has hooks here that hook into your rim. I'm going to attempt to show you how this actually hooks onto your vehicle. A couple of precautions you have to keep in mind. First thing, you want to look where your valve stem is. You don't want that hook ripping off your valve stem. Secondly, the placement of where your rim is at the moment. Right now, this is the only option I've got as opposed, I could go really, really wide. The valve stem's in the way there. It's a bit dicey, but if you're pretty sure those hooks are not going to come off, you can run it. I'm going to try to do this one-handed. Like that. Roll your jack up. Put the lifting foot into the receptacle, take the weight, and now you can grab your pole and start lifting. That's the valve stem I was concerned about. I don't want any of this interacting with that. You want to make sure there's a little lip on the end of your lift foot going into the receptacle. You want to make sure this is solid against the tyre. You want to make sure this area here remains clear. Righto guys, so that's how you use that accessory. I'm going to try to find a link for it and a picture for it so you can go and find it and purchase it if you want to use it. No point having it if you don't know how to use it, and you're not going to buy it if you're not confident in it. So that is how to use a high lift jack on a Weld body style side without a recovery point or a lift point. Next up, I'm going to show you how to quickly use one of these. Okay, so you can deflate your tyre and check your tyre pressure. Let's get at it. Okay guys, so this is my tyre deflator, this is the valve stem. Now, some of these metal caps have a little divot here, and yes, in a pinch, you can use it to let down your tyre. However, this is better off in your pocket. See, note the orange seal inside that? It's to keep the sand out. You do not want sand inside your valve stem. So, it has a couple of functions. You've got this little slidey up and downy thing, you got this little screwy thing. We'll call them little things because I don't know what they're called. However, screw it onto your valve stem using this. Notice that will move. You want to check your tyre pressure, you press down on it, and that presses down on the valve stem. And then you can see your pressure. If you want to let a little bit of air out, you press down on it and you shuttle it. Now, if you want to dump a good amount of air out, this is where it's fun. You push this needle in, undo the Schroeder valve until you feel the end of the thread bouncing, and you'll know what I mean. It feels like you hit the high point of a thread and it drops. Pull it out, drop, in, drop. Once I'm down to the desired pressure, I insert it, find the start of the thread and thread it back in. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Best thing about this, you will not get sand in amongst any of this if you show some caution. And as soon as you achieve the pressure, this little guy goes straight back on. Keeps the dirt out of it. A couple of things to note when deflating your tyres. If your four-wheel drive has already bottomed out and you do not have weight on the wheels, deflating the tyres is going to give you less traction because your machine is stuck on a mound like my previous video. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. Proper preparation prevents so on and so forth. I'll drop these down to 15 psi today, and whilst you're driving down the sand track, you'll notice the highest points and the low points and the wheel ruts. You will know when you're starting to drag, and you should try to achieve a little bit of high ground. I like to drive outside of the wheel ruts. This does two things. One, gives me ground clearance, and two, pushes the sand from the top back into the wheel rut and levels out the track. If everyone railway lines down a sandy track and just stays in the wheel ruts will get bigger. If you've got a little bit of confidence, get up out of the wheel ruts, drag the sand back into the low spots for everybody else and help them out. Lowering the pressure gives you a better footprint, it's easier on the car, and you'll find yourself moving down the beach a lot easier. If you don't have the ability to re-air up, do not drop down to something ridiculous like 8 psi. Drop down to 15, see how you go, drop down to 10 and see how you go from there. Every vehicle and every car tyre behaves differently. I'm not going to be able to give you what's best for you. There's a whole heap of stuff out there. Have a play, but at the end of the day, drop down to something if you're going to come play on the beach. If your little beach access is 10 minutes from the closest servo, drop down to something and then creep up the highway and get to there and pump some air into it if you don't have a compressor. If you do have a compressor, just get used to using it, and you'll find that your car behaves a lot better. So as I mentioned earlier, this video is more aimed at those first time four drivers. You've brought yourself a four drive, you've been driving it to and from work. This should inspire you to get out there and amongst it. In Western Australia, we're lucky. There's still a few little places where you can have a little bit of beach access close to town, like Gelton's just over there. If I got in trouble, I could literally walk there. This is a perfect training ground. A couple of the things I want to touch on. First time four driving, lower your tyre pressure straight up. That's something that costs you nothing. Lower it down until your tyre looks a little bit fatter than normal. You don't got no pressure gauges, you got no toys, you got no tools, you got nothing, no recovery gear, and you're just going to sneak down on the beach and have a little play. Lower your tyre pressure, because the minute you get bogged, someone comes and helps you, the first thing they're going to ask is, oh, have you lowered your tyre pressure? You don't want to be a member of the 40 psi club. So what we're looking for here is a bulge in the sidewall. So anyway, if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. This is Can Aussie Outdoors. A couple of simple little four-wheel drive hacks there to get you out of trouble, things to remember, tyre pressure, lifting points on your vehicle, how to use a high lift jack. I haven't even gone into how to use the max tracks. If you want a little bit more information, get in the comment section below. If you've seen something that you'd like more information on, 100% tell me. I need content for videos. I overlook things because sometimes I take knowledge for granted. There's people out there that know more than me, and there's people out there that know more than anyone else. So help us out, Can Aussie Outdoors. As you can see, it's a bloody awesome day today. Shouldn't be just making videos, going to get out there and spend some time with the family. Follow us on YouTube, TikTok. I've even got a Facebook page, Can Aussie Outdoors. So get amongst it, help us out, and let's all get out there and enjoy the four-wheel driving.